How's it going, everybody? Pitmarthroy here, and welcome back to Let's Play Stardew Valley here on Fantasy Farm. In the last episode, we finished up spring of year 3. How's it going, Sebastian? Summer's here. I need to start slathering the sunscreen pretty thick. I want to maintain my pale complexion. Yep, I know the feel. I know the feel. Rio has also grown up a stage, so now we're able to actually start building rapport, as we can see on our skills list down here. We can actually, start building a relationship with our son. Apparently you had to wait till the second stage of life to do that. Bit interesting, but, you know, okay. So we did that. We also got quite a bit of crafting done, as you can see back here. Lots of extra items crafted. Oops, I did not mean to click on that. Lots of extra items crafted that we had not done before in order to get a little bit closer to our overall goal. It's not open till 9. Which is a shame, because I actually do need to talk to Sandy, as we are going to be buying quite a bit of starfruit, I would wager, as now summer is here, and there are quite a few things going on. I'll probably head to the key challenges first, and see what we've got there. But as is always with the start of the video, the key challenges have reset. We've got a new season, so it is out with the dead spring crops and in with the nice, pretty summer crops. And since we also got a start on getting our... thank you. As we also got a start on getting our last room decorated, since I finally got the Junimo catalog at long last. That also means that we've got potential to work a little bit on that as well, depending on how things go. Where is my scythe? Ah, there it is. I was about to say, am I blind? Did I just not see it? So, while we wait for things to open up, let's go ahead and get all this cleared out. As even if we do have a challenge that I want to complete for key, I would rather get this all built and sorted before anything else. So let's toss this in here. And we could do a little bit of a chat while we have our farm routine done here. I also need to grab the watering can. There you are. Oh, and the axe. That was the other thing I actually came back here for. The axe as well. Are we low on any specific... Not really. But that said, I am going to make use of these. That, as I said in the last video, that heavy furnace was extremely helpful in helping me get the necessary pieces of everything for crafting. We used a lot of clay and a lot of iron bars. I think those were probably the two things, along with stone, that we used the most as we went through all that crafting. Alright, let's see here. That looks good. Oh, right, the scarecrow. I was like, what was that? I was not paying attention to my toolbar. So what are our plans for summer? I mean, it's a little bit more of the same. We've taken care of a lot of the big things on our list, as it were, to try and get closer to 100%. The one that's going to take the most time, bar and away, will be getting the golden clock, as that will take 10 million gold, and we haven't even made 10 million total, but that's just going to be a time sink more than anything. But as now basically all of the cooking and crafting recipes are done, with some small exceptions, pretty much anything we find or make is probably just going to be sold, and so those profits should increase slightly as well. This does also mean at some point I'll probably be working on making a spot with more kegs. I'm thinking like the quarry, for example. Areas with more kegs, so the crops will pretty much all get turned into wine and thus get sold for more profit. But we'll kind of play that by ear and see how it goes. I think that's everything. Let's grab these real quick. Never know when we might need these for a little bit of extra income. So that'll be our primary goal. Like I said, we still do have some of the crafting recipes and the cooking recipes left, so I'm going to do my best to hunt those down whenever possible. Namely, we are missing, at least for the cooking recipes, the actual recipe itself for... oh, what was it? It was the island ingredient. There we go. The island curry. So I do hope that at some point Gus will show up on the island so I can purchase that from him. Other than that, the only thing we really need is just a salmon for making the salmon dinner. So if we can get that, and get that recipe, then we are done with the cooking. For the crafting, there's a couple recipes we need to get from Key, as in we actually need to go and, you know, purchase them proper. But for that, of course, we'll have to complete more of the Key challenges. And aside from that, pretty much the only thing that we have not done is getting the mini forge created, which requires a dragon, or it requires, I think it was 5 dragon teeth, and I have 1 currently. So I will need to go into the volcano dungeon and get more of those. So with all that said, I think we've got a pretty good plan in place here. Once I am done with the watering, I'm going to head off and probably check the island first for the Key challenge, but also to see if Gus is there, because if he is, then that would definitely brighten my spirits quite a bit. Let's take a very quick peek. I've also been using a fair bit the farm computer for pretty much any time that I run out, or that I have extra spots to plant things, and I don't want to actually, you know, go around and count, okay, how much of XYZ do I need in terms of planting on the farm or whatever. You just check the computer, say, okay, we've got 624, type in T, 624, hit enter, and there you go. So that's pretty much how that's been working. With all of that said, I'm going to refill my watering can, put a couple of these things up. Actually, I should probably hang on to them in case I need them for the island, but I'll put these 2 things up. Well, no, I might need the watering can as well. But for now, we're going to head to the island and see what things are looking like there. And it looks like Gus is not here. Who do we have? We have Leah, Elliot, Abigail, and Leo's hanging out here as well. So yeah, just note, I am keeping an eye on that still. Again, still nothing. Like with the catalog, once I do eventually have Gus show up here, I will make a note of it when we're doing the post-commentary, so you'll be able to see it. Let's go ahead and get all this. So, well, some empty spots. I still did not get the sprinklers quite the way I need to for them to be growing that starfruit, though. I think what I might do is just take one for the team and do this. There we go. Now that should be able to reach all of them. Anything else up here? Yeah, some blueberries. Pretty much just going to be keeping the coffee beans and the non-quality taro, as I do want to still try and get enough of that for getting that island TV. I do want to get that at some point, so I'm going to put those in there. We'll drop off a thing of mixed seeds. Put that there. Perfect. What do we got? Alright. 3 of those. Let's do another 3. There we go. We actually got a decent amount that time. The actual taro. There we go. This is the reason that I've got these seed makers here. It's not for the taro specifically, but, you know, every little bit towards a goal that I need to do will help. And I think those will probably be all I do for now, since there are other taro growing here and there. This should be plenty for the time being. In fact, I don't actually think there's any other... Well, no, there's one other space right here. Yeah, that looks to be about all the spaces, so I'll just leave these in here for now. And let's go check those key challenges. I'm still kind of ultimately... Hello. I'm still kind of ultimately in the mindset of... Excuse me. Wanting to go for things that are easy until we've got basically only the money-making left for key challenges. And once we're down to just only doing the money-making, there's, like, no crafting or any additional things that I really need to focus on. At that point, I can just kind of focus entirely on the challenges. So, these are the exact 2 that I had last time. I'm going to go with Danger in the Deep again because the reward is higher. It's obviously doable, same as the other one. We're currently at 89%. All the produce done, all the obelisks. We still need the golden clock. Monster Slayer, Great Friends, Farmer Level, All-Star Drops, those are all done. So it is just those cooking and crafting recipes that we just need to pick up, and the golden clock. That is pretty much it. For the recipes, I do know that, yes, you are correct. I do need to get the dragon teeth, but also I need the key gems for the recipes. And the dragon teeth, or at least the volcano dungeon, will always be there. The challenges will not necessarily always be there. So that's why I'm going to go in with what I am. Alright, that's done. Put these away. Figured I'd show at least a little bit of the routine in full so you can get a somewhat of an idea of exactly how every bit of the goings-on is here. Yes, lots of pets, lots of hunts for truffles that are just in the ground. I'm just holding down the right mouse button while I'm doing this, by the way. You were thinking about going in there, weren't you? I thought so. Hopefully she will still be awake, as it is 5:10, so this might be a strictly farming day, but that's pretty normal for the start of the season, let's be honest. For the eggs, pretty much these days, I just kind of go with whatever is immediately given to me. I didn't do it there, but usually I try to go for the non-iridium quality stuff first. I might also switch up the... Oops. There we go. I might also switch up the music that's playing on the jukebox, just for me personally. And because, you know, we're going to have the luau in this season, we'll just switch it up to something different. So, if it sounds different in post-commentary, it's probably because I've changed it to something else. Okay, there's the mushies. I am going to go ahead and quickly run to the desert to get all those starfruit if she's still available. Hopefully Sandy will have her doors open for a little bit longer. Yes, excellent. See, I knew I could count on you. You're not like Pierre, where he just immediately closes the door, or even worse, Clint. Alright, 624 is quite a high number to go for. But again, the starfruit are worth a fair bit here, so we'll just go up to that number as I'm just mashing my mouse button. 624. Hopefully that'll give you a nice, good bit of income to work with for the foreseeable future. Can't imagine it wouldn't. Alright, let's return to the valley and get those planted. I know I still have the greenhouse to check through as well, but kind of wanted to prioritize something that was a little bit more time sensitive. And there we go. I did also move, I don't think I talked about this in post-commentary, I did change all my coffees into triple shot espressos. It was almost entirely just so I didn't have to drink them as frequently. By merging them into triple shot espressos, you're switching from 3 coffees to 1 triple shot, and you get 3 times the amount of time that they have. So it's exactly identical in terms of that. You're not losing out on anything or gaining anything by making those in bulk. It's just less often that you have to redo the caffeine boost, as it were. So with that, hopefully that will help me a little bit in not having to do that as often. So yeah, this is pretty much predominantly what we're going to be doing here. I don't actually care about putting in the quality fertilizer all that much. What I might do for later ones, once I've got more money, is I might buy speed grow once the initial set wears out here, to try and get 3 sets, because these take 13 days, but I don't think that's actually doable anymore, so we'll probably just do 2 big rounds of starfruit and then another round of some summer crop that doesn't take as long. Something like, trying to think of one off the top of my head, but most of them are regrowing ones, like the blueberries or the hot peppers, and the melon takes a long time, so we'll figure that out when we get there. But it is worth noting that if you also wanted to put speed grow on these things, and you continue to replant them, you probably could get an extra harvest out of these. It's just I didn't want to spend the money on the speed grow on top of the starfruit, because it was admittedly a bit pricey, even for our budget these days with having 6 figures of money to spend. we'll just get all of these planted. I do need to clean up this south part of the farm a little bit more. I know I could be using this for more farming space, and I could. I very well could. And if I had a second player with me, that's probably the area I would be like, hey, this is like your sort of farming area, do whatever you want with it. I'd, you know, put a cottage probably right here and say, like, have at. But as we don't, it's just sort of an area for the animals. And then, of course, you could just pay for the hay since you're, you know, getting more money from your crops. It wouldn't be as big of a deal. Let's put all that away. If I'm off on my seeds, I suppose I can use those mixed seeds, but usually I end up buying too many seeds. Which ultimately is not that big of a deal, because even if they run out of season, you just take them to the island and plant them there. So it's not too terribly bad. It is worth noting, if you don't want to do a lot of, well, a lot. If you don't want to do as much farm management in terms of your maintenance, switch to blueberries for this, because you won't have to replant the starfruit seeds, or the blueberry seeds rather, like you would with the starfruit seeds once they are ready to be harvested. Obviously I'll have to, you know, replant everything, but for blueberries they would just keep on going. So ultimately kind of up to you what you want to do. The starfruit are overall more valuable, so your choice really. Just remember that typically, but not always, the single harvest stuff that you have to replant will be better for your wines, and ones that you can get multiple harvests out of. Wow, actually exactly correct. The ones that you can get multiple harvests out of are typically going to be better for your preserves jars. Alright, I think with all of that, aside from quickly taking the wool over, or no, not that, we're pretty much good. Since it's so late in the day, though, I'm going to swap that out. And that looks correct. I think we will just kind of do a round of routine here and work on getting a little bit more profit / income. Oh, that's where the mayo ended up. Okay, we'll move that down here. And over here, we'll just do all the extra milk, I think. There we go. So put that away. And then on this side, since the iridium takes the longest, I'll just go for the iridium. Let's do a quick check on how the casks are doing, because I've not been down here in a while. How are these doing? They are almost all, or no, I think they are. They're just hidden here. Yeah, they're all at silver now. And I've got an extra set of starfruit still, so we're good to just sell any wine that gets made or done. And those are still going as well. I think we're basically good to end the day. Also, if anybody was wondering, like, hey, where's Sebastian? Is he mad at you or whatever? By putting multiple beds inside of your house, you can see that they'll show up in multiple areas. So if you want your spouse to just stay with you in whatever bed, then just stick to that one particular bed. Don't add any extras. So that's why he is there. Alright, with everything planted and our key challenge under tow, I think I will probably pretty much just be heading straight there and not focusing on anything else. And we'll see how this goes, and hopefully there will be more ore to be found. Spirits are in good humor, so that's something. I'm not holding really that much hope out, but we'll see how it goes, I guess. I don't know where Sebastian is. He must be outside. Yeah, there you are. Let me just set some stuff aside here, and then I'll talk to you. Here you go. Let's put these away. So what's new? I got up early to water some crops, and they were already done. You really got this place under control. Did you fill Callie's water bowl at least? Yay, you did. Okay. That one is one that can't be done by the sprinkler, so I'm actually very glad you did that for me. Got more hay from Marnie. More stuff to put here. There will still be a little bit of routine. I just want to remind people of that. I'm also going to get an iridium sprinkler there, I think. What did I need to craft those again? Each of those, let's put one there. It's not really in the way of anything, so there we go. It'll get a little bit of water on that grass, not that it really matters, but, you know. It's the thought that counts for all the animals, really. Actually, I'm glad Marnie gave us more hay, though. That's one of the things I will have to be a little bit careful with. Regardless, yes, I am going to go ahead and jump cut to the Dangerous Mines, round 2, and we'll see exactly how that goes. With the hopes that there will be more than a small modicum of radioactive ore this time, we tackle the challenge again. There's probably still plenty of really cool things for monsters to drop, but luckily it only takes until floor 7 to finally find some radioactive ore. We're on floor 7, and I think we've already gotten more ore out of this run than we did the entirety of the last one. Jeez. Yep, now we definitely have. Another piece comes up on floor 18, and with that I can very safely say we've gotten more ore here than the entirety of our last run. We make a pit stop at floor 20 to drop off some items and restock on Mega Bombs, but we're still making pretty good time here. It's typically only taking 1 Mega Bomb, occasionally 2, to get past a floor. Another drop off at floor 30. There's some radioactive ore on floor 38, and we stop for the day at floor 40. I do change up the jukebox music a little bit too. Jellies and routine are both done, along with the island starfruit being ready in a decent quantity. We sell, store, buy, and replant. You know how it goes by now. The 40s in the mines are pretty uneventful, with a small bit of radioactive ore and an extra 2 key gems, but nothing too terribly interesting. Floor 56 had a ton of the coal enemies, and while that is great for our reserve, it did push my health down low enough that I actually had to be careful getting to floor 60 when I wasn't able to heal. Still, we managed it. I went back and made a ginger ale just in case of a bad emergency. We only made it to floor 65 today, but given that we had to replant some seeds, that makes sense. Another day of the wines being done, so lots of profit coming our way. And yes, the ancient fruit wine is worth less than the starfruit individually. Just depends on if you want to have to replant starfruit a ton and make more money, or let it be a little bit less money, but more automated with the ancient fruit and not having to replant. I have been keeping a lookout for gusts during this whole time, but between just bad luck and lots of rainy island weather, still nothing. Starting the mines at about 1 PM, we find a lot of spiders in the 5 remaining wood-like floors, but there is a prismatic shard too, so that's good. Just like the last time, the 70s floors were pretty uneventful, aside from a small bit of radioactive ore. You might notice things here are a bit repetitive, and yeah, that is going to be part of doing the same key challenge back to back. Still, we do need the radioactive ore, and it did offer us more key gems, and, you know, getting those items that he sells is important. The 80s just kind of let us skirt on by without any real issue. Between a single bomb and beating up enemies for drops and getting a staircase, doesn't take long to get through. We do have to stop at floor 95 for the day, and by now I'm pretty much selling everything that's not ore or coal. We just don't have much need for any materials now. We're not nearing the goal of hitting 10 million to buy that golden clocks, but in terms of what's left for crafting, there's only a few small things. Again with the rain on the island. This would be great if not for the fact that I need sunny days for Gus to show up, and I don't exactly need the rain since I've got sprinklers taking care of everything. It is a blessed butterfly day today, so I spent some time looking for it. Thankfully, it didn't take too terribly long, and I found it in the secret woods. Gave me a good 45,997 gold. Definitely worth it these days to pick those up. Bombs restocked, the quest continues. Yet another Galaxy Soul drop on floor 96 is starting to make me wonder if I should consider getting the Galaxy Hammer and boosting it, but we'll see. The hundreds have a decent bit of ore as we go through them, enough that we should be able to make what we need using it. Also, that weird glitch happens again, the one that happened in the volcano dungeon. Either it wore off exactly when I hit delete on my keyboard, or, you know, that might have actually fixed the problem. So maybe give it a try if it happens to you? Taking a break on floor 115 to drop off some items, do some farming stuff, and restock our bombs, we finish up the challenge. We actually get to see more than one radioactive node on floor 119 at the same time, and now with the quest complete, we've got over 70 key gems. With the key quest done and the routine not taking all day, what exactly do we do now? Well, we check the still raining island to buy the last recipe that we need from Key. All there is now is things like Pierre's stock list or the horse flute, along with buying the nozzles for sprinklers and stuff like that. You can do it if you want, and I do want to still show off some of the Key challenges, but they're not too terribly big a deal. I take another look through the crafting recipes to see what's left. With more iron bars done than last time I checked, we can now make the warrior ring, and the radioactive bars give us the heavy tapper as well. Along with the recipe that we just got, that really only leaves the dragon teeth that I need. Instead of doing that right away, I celebrate by working a bit more on the room decor before deciding to put the bait to use in hopes that I'll catch a salmon. They're normally in the river, so I use that special bait that can make fish regardless of season appear, combining it with the sonar bobber to see if I can find it. Thanks to the power of both of these items and the preservation of my fishing rod saving me bait, we actually do. That means there's only one recipe left to make, and I can finally ditch this stupid sign in my kitchen, so now all we need is for Gus to show up on the island. Well, with that done, I figured we may as well try for the materials needed for the last thing to craft, since we just got one step closer to everything to make on the cooking side of things. Evidently, I had not been in the volcano for quite a bit of time, forgetting my own advice of even bringing a watering can. Tragically, while there's not any luck in finding the dragon teeth, we did find something. Oh yeah, I totally forgot about this, me cutting in here. I completely forgot. The last journal scrap. Day 37, when I was a boy of 10 years old, my father gave me a glow ring and a magnet ring. They've never left my fingers since. However, when I was standing atop the volcano, a strange idea came over me. I took my two rings and cast them into the forge. Lo and behold, they combined into one. Now I've got one glowing magnet ring. I hope old Pappy doesn't mind. Rest his soul. Yep, I told you it was pretty much stuff we already knew. Yeah, I guess that set of collectibles is done now. It really just did take that dang long. We bought some bombs on floor 5 to make the process faster, but ultimately it doesn't really mean much. Floor 8 is as high as we can go with no watering cans, so it looks like a bit of a bust, aside from what we sell. Instead, I finish up decorating the last of my house. You finally get to see what it looks like at the end of the video. After slightly adjusting the last room and doing the routine, I start the process of moving all my remaining decoration items over to the island hut. Yep, I'm gonna take some time to decorate that too, and I'll show it at the end. We also make more preserves jars, enough that there's only 3 spots remaining before that project is completely and totally done. See, even with all that coal we got, we still need more. Is Gus at the beach? No. Are Pierre and Lewis? Of course they are. Day 2 of looking for dragon teeth, and this time we have some extremely good fortune. Not with finding the skeletons, where the dragon teeth are on the ground, but the drops from the lava enemies. We pick up 2 dragon teeth in the opening area, another 2 on floor 3, 1 on floor 4, and just like that, we've got 5, with even 1 back at the farm to spare. Celebrating by cleaning up the dig site, because why not? We can finally do it. We've crafted every item in the game, a first for me on any file of this that I've done. And if we ever do need to forge, now we can just do it here. 89% done, according to Key's board, and I'm pretty sure 10% of that remaining 11% is the golden clock. We're down to just money making and waiting for Gus to appear on the island. Since doing the same thing over and over would be boring, I take the rest of the night off to start working on the island house decoration. Again, you'll get to see that at the end of the day, which is right now. Well, we got a decent start, I would say, on making a sort of pirate-esque room, in case post-commentary me didn't make that obvious. Not quite done here, obviously, and still plenty of ways to go with everything else. Let's drink a triple shot here so I can move around faster. But yeah, I'll get to work on this a little bit more when I'm not busy with stuff, and as things are going now, we're a pretty good chunk of the way to where I want to be. You know, there, now it's a pirate room, truly. So yes, in this episode, we got a fair bit done of what we got left. As you can see, there was 89% left on the board, and of that 89%, I believe 10% of it is literally just the golden clock and nothing else. So let's take a look at that screen one more time. We did another recipe by a little bit of cheesing through using the almighty magic bait to be able to get our salmon, so that is another cooking recipe done. We finished up the last crafting recipe by, well, getting the ones that we needed to, but also getting the dragon teeth necessary, so that is also done. So at this point we are now just down to the golden clock and that one single recipe, so I will be essentially waiting for Gus to show up on the island to grab that, and then it will be crafted. And aside from that, it's basically just money making, at least in terms of the raw perfection tracker. That said, I do want to show off more of the key challenges, the ones that we have not seen. We've seen both of these, so I'll just be picking one, whichever I prefer, and I'll probably take extended family. I'll click on it right now, and then, lie and change my mind later on. Nah, probably won't matter. But I still will use the key gems for various prizes in here. I'll probably pick up these two things, even though I don't really need them at some point down the line. There's some other stuff in here that could be handy. I would love to have this exotic double bed. I think that would work pretty well in the pirate room if I choose to put a bed in there. Probably won't, but I could. And aside from that, we'll figure out what to do with the key gems. So we are down to the point where it is just going to be essentially a lot of money making. It will be me setting up things more, talking about like, oh, this is what I'm doing with the quarry now that I'm not focused on anything else. Like, we don't need to be focused on anything other than pretty much just raw money making until Gus shows up at the island. And other than that, we're just making money until we get to that 10 million necessary to be able to buy the golden clock. We've already made 10 million total almost. So it's going to be a while before we get there, because we're only basically 10% of the way thus far, so I want to start speeding that process up as much as I possibly can. In the meantime, let's get back to the main farm and end things off. See how things are looking here. We'll give you one more look at how the final version of the house is from start to finish. So I've got sort of a space and galaxy theme here. I really like how this one turned out. I didn't really know where to put Leah's little creation, but I felt like it did decently here, honestly. The dark color of the wood kind of works. This is more of just like a general ice/crystal thing going on here, kind of a crystal blue, the crystal on the decoration. Sorry if I smell of sweating all night in the heat. Ew. Yeah, you didn't need to let me know that. They haven't invented smell-o-vision yet. Obviously, we can't decorate the lower area down here, but it is still done regardless. Got a chest full of food, a refrigerator full of even more food, so we're good on that front. Got a little studying book cubby down here, with a little bit more of the bookcases and a couch and a fireplace to make it cozy. We've got our jungle room. I really wish I could rotate this, but tragically it will not allow me to, but I still feel like it's in an okay spot. We've got Sebastian's area over here with the terrarium with his frogs. We've got our night area down here with our crystallariums, some crystal balls and things like that. And I think that one's looking pretty good, even though I don't get to see it too terribly much. We've got our aquatic room with our legendary fish in here, as well as a couple other things like the sea urchin and the cockle, just to really make the decor pop a little bit more. We've got our sky area up here, full of lots of light blue things. We've got our baby's room / sort of a nighttime themed one. Hopefully it will help the baby sleep, but it is a space and sky theme a little bit. And then, of course, over here we have more of our jungle theme, getting into a little bit more of the... I went over this before once. I'm trying to go for a mix of, like, Junimo, but also kind of, like, sacred space area, as well as giving Callie her own little area with her cat post, a bunch of trees that she would like. She'd be able to mess around in those and hide in them safely, and then, of course, the little cat area here, as well as a little spot that's finished off. I love how this room looks at night, more so than the daytime. So I think we're basically done decorating in here, but I am still going to work on the island decoration as well. That will basically be going on if I've got nothing else going on, which will probably start happening a fair bit more during these routines and post-commentaries, as once Gus doesn't show up and I've done like all I can to get everything set up, it's just kind of messing around and doing other things to make more money, like, you know, fishing and whatnot, and then we're basically playing a waiting game. It's weird to think, but that's essentially the truth. And then other than that, of course, we'll be going over the key quests, like I said. So, for now, thank you all for watching, and I will see you all in the next one. Later.